I've always believed that there were several planes of existence, and we as human beings inhabit only one.
That fairy minds knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning. Don't give it any help, it knows too much already.
This is Dr. Barry Taff, and you're listening to the Paranormal Journal.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Journal podcast. I want to thank everybody out there who's been downloading, listening, liking, and loving the Paranormal Journal podcast. This is season 2, and I'm going to start doing some things on Sunday morning. I'm going to call it the Sunday Morning Para Talk. My work schedule is kind of crazy right now, so, it's kind of hard to do podcasts in the evening because of work, so I'm definitely going to start doing this on a Sunday morning. We're going to have a lot of guests on. We're going to have one on today. I'll be talking about him in a few seconds here, but just little updates. Perhaps we'll be at some of these Paracons that are going to be happening around Pennsylvania this year. If you want to come out and see us, we will be at Pennhurst in May. It's a big, the big Pennhurst Paracon that's going on. We will have a vendor table there. We will be there. You can get some of our HAPS merchandise, which we have got some really cool stuff. We got some flashlights. We got some flash drives. We got business cards. We're going to have shirts. It's going to be a bunch of stuff, man. Come out and check us out. We're going to have a lot of stuff to give away. And, get HAPS out there and hopefully get a lot more cases and out here to help people. That's what we want to do. That's what we're here to do. And that's what we like to do. And we love to do. That's what what our drive is to help people and families that are experiencing paranormal phenomena, and we're going to continue to do that. But we will be at a bunch of Paracons. We're doing some new things this year with the Paracons, getting out to reach out to meet new people and get their ideas on what they're doing in paranormal investigating. And you never know, man. You can learn a lot of stuff from new people, and people can learn a lot of stuff from you, from some of the stuff that you've done over a lot of years of paranormal investigating. It helps to reach out and help, to talk with other people and help other people. So, and we're down for that. We've always been down for it. So, like I said, we will be at the Pennhurst Paracon. We will be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash coming up in July. We will be there as well. And we will be in the Hell House Paracon in September. Come up and check us out. And we're going to be doing lots of good things with Anna Marie Manello. With the book The Unholy Structure, she wrote about a case file on one of our cases, and yeah, man, it's going to be pretty cool. A lot of exciting things have happened for us. We were featured in American Paranormal Magazine. We were the cover story for Pennsylvania. That went over really well, and man, it's nice to get some recognition out here for all the years we've been doing paranormal investigating. It's nice to get recognition, and people, a lot of people commented in the magazine, which I was really surprised. I didn't know people were really following the Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society like that, but they were, man. They had a lot of cool comments about things that we did in the past. We did a couple lectures at Lancaster Library and the York Emporium and things like that, and man, people really had a lot of comments on there. I was really surprised. I didn't think people were following us like that, but they were very cool. I am going to have a special guest on today. And I was on his podcast last week. And I tell you what, it was fun, man. I had a really good time with this guy. His name's Eric Sims. And he's the host of the Unseen Paranormal podcast. I tell you, man, I had a great time on his podcast. We talked about a lot of things. And it was fun. I had a fun time. And I said, we're going to be doing this Sunday morning Paratalk thing. If you want to come on and talk paranormal shop, hey, man, come on in. And he was like, yeah, definitely, dude, definitely. We have a lot of things in common. He's been doing this stuff a long time. And he also he does Paracons, and he's on the same page with me with the Paracons where, we need to have these Paracons, not only for these paranormal celebrities, but for the average paranormal investigator, man. We're out here putting in the work. I don't know, these TV shows, they're just TV shows, folks. They're entertainment. We're out here really doing it. We are out here putting in this work. Week in, week out, every weekend. We come home, we don't have, people reviewing our evidence for us. We're actually reviewing it. And, it's tough, man, to maintain a job and do this, you know what I mean? I mean, you're reviewing hours and hours of audio, video. I mean, if you miss 1 second, you can miss something very important. So you really got to be paying attention, and you really got to be observant when you're doing your review. I can't wait to talk to Eric and see what a lot of the things that, some of the things that he's been doing over the years and how he comes about doing it. And maybe he has some new ideas about paranormal investigating, So, without further ado, let me get Eric on the hook here, and we're going to talk paranormal shop. Paranormal shop on Sunday, man. This is going to be awesome. Nice hot cup of coffee. The sun's up. It's a great day to be alive. But let's talk about some paranormal things. So let me get Eric on the hook here, and we are going to talk paranormal shop. Hey, what's going on, Eric?
Hey.
So, Eric, you got some tickets to the Gettysburg Bash, huh?
Yeah. I've been wanting to come the past few years, and just because there's so many people that I know that I've talked to on the show that I've met online that are going to be there, and just come meet everybody in person and have a good time.
Yeah, man, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I used to go to Paracons a long time ago, and I kind of stopped going to them because it was kind of like getting in the way of things of like investigating. I might have a case that weekend or something like that, and I was just like, man, I can't. I'm not gonna be able to make it. And kind of got out of it. I just like back then it was, I don't know, I wasn't all into the pair celebs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, going up for them to have a good time because they're out there partying, having a good time. I'm like paying for their good time. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude,
right.
The hell with that shit, man. I can buy paranormal equipment with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some new cameras or something.
Location.
Yeah,
pay for a location from them. Yeah.
I ain't gonna do that shit. Why should I? I'll just I'll go buy my own equipment or go to a haunted location, or most of the time I just bought equipment with it.
Yeah.
So
well, that's one reason why we decided to do our own expo. For one, there's not any kind of big Paracon or expo in Middle Tennessee, and so we decided to put it on our own, and with the sole purpose of not having para-celebrities per se, but having real deal people who are out there really doing the research, investigating, writing books, things like that. People who are, I don't like to use the word expert. We've talked about that with you on my show, but people that are
putting in the work.
Yeah, and so like we have somebody like Pat Fitzhugh who has been investigating the Bell Witch legend for like 40 years. He's put out 3 books. Like he's the expert on that phenomenon, right? Not necessarily paranormal, but on that legend.
Yeah.
He's the go-to guy if you want to talk to somebody about Bell Witch. He knows the story inside and out, and all that. So we got people like him coming as speakers and as guests. And the only para celebs I guess that we have is 2 of my buddies. I've become friends with them from they were on A&E's version of Ghost Hunters. Mustafa Gallalori and Brandon Alvis, but they
Mustafa?
are 2. Yeah,
he was. I remember him.
Yeah, great guy. Me and him become really good friends, and but they're serious about investigating. They don't really give 2 shits about the para celeb as much. they're very serious about what they do, and they've got a new show they've been working on called Haunted Discoveries.
Nice.
That is, yeah, and they brought in Dr. Harry Clore, an actual scientist, to actually try to scientifically capture the paranormal. And they use like the what is the name of that camera? It's an electron multiplying camera, and so it can see in total darkness because it uses electrons instead of visible light. And they've actually had really good success with capturing like full body apparitions with it and things
That's cool.
that you can't see otherwise. Yeah, so they're trying to scientifically do things. So they're actually out there putting in the work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be on a television show, but it's not going to be like any other show that has been on because of their scientific approach and that. So I really respect those guys, and I didn't invite them to be speakers because they're paracelebs. I invited them because of what they're doing. And so yeah, all of our speakers are like that. And also I'm big on diversity because I think it takes all different types of people in the paranormal. I've one of the things that I'm just sick of is the bro culture that like Sack Baggins, brings to the table.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
That, yeah.
He's a trip, man. He's getting exposed now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're airing his shit out. He's finished.
Yeah. And also, there's some of these paracons that and conventions and stuff that they don't feature any women in the paranormal. Like you look at the speakers, and it's all guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I want that perspective. So we have a good mix. Not tooting my own horn about that, but we tried to come in with a good mix of speakers, men, women, everybody kind of bringing different things to the table. So I'm excited for that.
So when's this Paracon you're doing?
It's gonna be October 21st at the Fairgrounds, Nashville, Tennessee.
You got a website for it and everything?
We do. It's Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo.com.
Sweet. I'd like to get out there, man. I love Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm a native. I'm born and raised. I'm one of the rare Tennessee natives. We got people moving out here from California and Michigan, everywhere else.
That's beautiful there, man. I used to fish down there a lot at Douglas Lake and everything down there, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to fish down there for bass and stuff like that. Tournaments. We'd had national tournaments down at Douglas, and beautiful place, man. Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's a great idea what you're doing, man. Especially, there's a lot of people that are putting in the work, and they don't get any notoriety behind any of it. You know what I mean? And they're out there every weekend, busting their ass trying to help people and figure out some kind of answer to this stuff. You know what I mean? And I think the Paracon should be geared toward these kind of people.
Yeah.
Regular investigators like us that are putting in the work. We spend countless hours at night, going over evidence and review, and just because you're not on a TV show, you don't get any recognition behind it. You know what I mean? So it's just like the only people that really recognize you are your clients. They're the ones that really love you because you're there helping them and trying to find an answer to everything for them, and the research of everything. It's a lot of work, man. People don't understand that, and I kind of look at some of the other paranormal groups that are out there, and I'm like, seeing the stuff that they put on the internet and YouTube. They have their YouTube channels, and I'm just like, well, what are you really doing this shit for? You know what I mean? Like, what is your purpose of making these short movies, and other than trying to get famous? That's the way it seems to me. That shit's kind of far and in between that you're gonna make it on television. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what their purpose is behind it. Is it a glory thing? Is it I just don't. If you're trying to be famous, I mean, good luck with that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like far and in between of that happening.
Yeah, I've come across quite a few narcissists in the paranormal.
Oh my
and that's
God.
one reason why
it's
I think
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And that's one reason you have these people spouting para-unity all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bullshit word, because every person that I've ever seen with the para-unity movement that you see doing like the para-unity paracons and shit, they're the worst ones.
Yeah.
They're the ones out trying to make a name for themselves and make money and all that. And so that's why, people are like, why are you always shitting on para-unity? Because the people that are doing it are, they're putting that out there in that word. They're the worst people that you want to get behind.
Yeah. I've experienced quite a few of it over 20 years of investigating. I'm just like, I stopped messing with people for a long time because I just come across a lot of negative people, and there's a lot of coattail riders too, man. Like you meet people and they see that you're putting in the work, and they want to ride on your coattails with things, and it's just like, dude, you need to put your own goddamn work in, man. Like, I'm doing this, every night, every second I got to try to get my name out there so I can get. I'm not worried about getting famous. I'm worried about getting clients and doing more investigating. You know what I mean? Like sitting at home, sitting here on a computer is not going out and researching paranormal phenomena to me. You know what I mean? I need to get out there, and the more cases I get, the more chances I get to research this phenomenon, man. And it's an amazing phenomenon to me. I think it's incredible the things that happen, and you're just like, what the hell makes this stuff happen? You know what I mean? How's it creating itself to talk and manifest and do things? That's the amazing part to me. And some of these cases you go into, it affects the family like really bad. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not a TV show. This shit is real, man.
Yeah.
This is somebody's life.
In the past few years, I've kind of shifted with starting the podcast and stuff, and I've been very fortunate that the podcast does really well. But my focus of the podcast is not for me to be famous. I'm fucking 40 years old. I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
If I get invited on TV or something, okay, whatever. But that's not the goal for me. The goal when I started the podcast, and even more so now that I'm in 120 something episodes in and I have over 100,000 downloads, which I think is great because when I started, if I had 10 people listen, I thought was awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I wanted to have a diverse group of people on, and I continue to still talk to local paranormal teams. I talk to authors who you've never heard of because they have some of the most incredible stories. I don't need a whole bunch of paracelebs, and I've had paracelebs on the show, but they're only the ones that I respect.
Yeah,
of what they're doing, like Katrina Weidman and Mustafa and Brandon and people like that I think are still putting in the work, even though they're on TV, they are putting in the work. And so my goal with the podcast has become, putting these stories out there to help people and also to give a voice to investigators who otherwise wouldn't have a voice. And I'm lucky to have a platform now that I can put them out there. So my focus has changed a little bit in the paranormal, and like we're doing the expo and we do events, but for that, it's all about charity at this point. Like, we make no money off of any of this. It's all going to charity and help out historic locations and things like that to help them keep the doors open. So
that's awesome. That's awesome, man. I just, anymore, I've been on a couple of TV shows, like The Haunted and Ghost Nation. And I basically went on those shows just to get my name out there. You know what I mean? Our paranormal group's name out there because, man, if they see you on TV, they know, even though with TV's half of that, probably 98% of that is bullshit. You know what I mean? Right. But if they see you on a national network, they know you're not some kook. You know what I mean? You're not some, goofball that's coming into their house and, gonna do some crazy shit in their house. And that's the scary part about a lot of this stuff is that some of these teams that go into houses, man, they do some really ridiculous shit, and it's just like, dude, you're doing more harm than good, man. Talking about they can get rid of demons, like they go in out, oh yeah, you have a psychic with them, oh there's demons in here or something, and they're just like, oh yeah, you got like 4 demons over there, 3 over, 3 over here. You're like, how do you even know this shit? Because someone's saying that. There's no proof. There's no validation to that shit at all. You're just saying that.
Yeah, and the other side of that is, every fucking place has a portal now.
Yeah, a portal.
That's become a big popular thing too. Portals and demons and
demonic shit sells. That's the big thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you got a TV show and there's demons on it, you're fucking making money, dude. Like big bucks. You're like, nah, man, that's not. All the years I've investigated, I've never seen anything demonic. I've seen some weird shit. But, never demonic. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, man, that's a demon. No, I can't say that. I've come across some maybe negative things, you know what I mean? Like, but there's negative and positive energies, all throughout the whole earth, you know what I mean? So it's just.
Well, I think you have to have one, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
It's a balance between the two. But talking about some of these paranormal teams, a lot of people, I've been accused of trying to gatekeep in the paranormal. And no, that's not what I'm doing. It's just I put in 20 something years of work on this like you have. And I think that you can't just jump in and do some shit that you have no experience doing.
Exactly.
Okay, it's great. Oh, you got your team on the front of a magazine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, where the fuck is the work that you put in? Okay, if you've done this for 20 years and you're on the front of a magazine, okay, that's good recognition
Yeah. Yeah.
of what you've done. But if you've only had a team for a year, and I've seen this lately, a couple of teams that I could name, I'm not going to name them, but it pisses me off because it's like, okay, you threw this team together, you have no experience whatsoever. You're putting your name out there, you're getting in local newspapers and in magazines. And so you're gonna have people start to call you. But what fucking experience do you have when these people call you needing help to go in and help them? It's
Yeah.
all great that you're in the press and it's feeding your narcissism or whatever, your ego.
Yeah.
But when the real shit hits the fan, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. When
You're gonna
go,
call somebody like us who are experienced and say, "What the fuck do I do because I'm in over my head now?"
yeah. You're gonna
And a lot of people want to say, "Well, that's gatekeeping," the paranormal. No, I just think you
no.
need to pay your damn dues and learn what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, don't you can't do this shit for a year and think you're a paranormal expert or
Right.
even a professional at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be professional in all your cases. It's not about being an expert. It's about putting in the work and taking care of the clients. Like these people are really experiencing paranormal phenomena. It scares the shit out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you see paranormal groups with the creepy websites and shit like that. My website is completely professional. Like it
Yeah.
looks like a business website. It's not going to be something that's creepy exorcist music and that kind of shit playing on it because they're already afraid. So you don't
Yeah.
want to make them any more scared than they already are. You know what I mean? You want them to look like,
Right.
hey, they're pretty professional. This is boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And I learned that from Jason Halls. That's how we started out in the Taps family. We're part of the Taps family, and that was one of his first stipulations was, hey, don't make a creepy website. You make a creepy website, you're just going to scare people away.
Yeah. Skulls and spider webs and
Yeah.
more like a horror Halloween website.
Yeah, Ouija boards and blood and shit like
Yeah.
that. You can't do that. People have to be, confident that you're not some kook. And all my members are criminally background checked as well. I do a criminal background check on them. Anyone has a criminal record cannot be a member of the group at all. So, and I think that's important. You know what I mean? You gotta check. There are some people. I have people that had tried to become members that had criminal backgrounds. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, nah, dude, you can't. Just it's not going to work that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going into people's private homes, and you don't want somebody stealing jewelry or money or even pills and things like that. And so yeah, because these people are trusting that you're coming in, and they don't know you, you don't know them. They just know they need help, and you're the person that they've turned to. So yeah, I think that's great that you do background checks and know, try to know these people as much as you can before bringing them in and doing that.
Oh yeah, and I let the client, if the client wants to see any of the criminal background checks, I provide it for them. You know what I mean? Like here's a criminal background check. All of us are cleared, no criminal record whatsoever. I mean, it shows everything to a parking ticket. You know what I mean? So
right.
If you have a parking ticket, it shows up on the background check. So
yeah.
They're like, oh wow, this is awesome. So that gives them another ray of confidence in you that you're a legit paranormal group. Like you're not coming in here with Ouija boards and all that other shit.
Yeah.
People do a lot of irresponsible stuff, and you're just like, God damn, dude, I can't believe I'm wild to see it online, and I'm like, holy shit, man. You're just like,
the one thing that I still can't believe that fucking happens and people still fall for it. These paranormal groups that still charge people to come in their homes.
Yeah, it's insane.
That shit still goes on. I've seen
That's crazy.
Lately I've seen websites where the teams are charging a fee. Well, we have to travel, we have expenses. That's their stance. And like, well, you got in the wrong fucking business if you're trying to make money.
Yeah.
And also if you're going in claiming to help people and investigate, why are you charging them? You can't prove any of this shit.
No.
It's not like you're a fucking bug exterminator going in, I'm gonna
sprinkle
put
some fairy dust around
your house.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I had a guy came with us one time, and he broke out the sage and all this shit, and he's like, "Here, man, let me sage you up." I was like, "Stop, dude." I said, "Look, I've been in a lot of investigations. I've done a lot of shit over the years. I've tried all that blessings, and none of that shit worked. And none of it. It all. You're talking about a phenomenon we don't understand. So you've freaking taken sage and throwing holy water. Sometimes it makes the shit worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can make
Yeah.
things, provoke things in the house and make it worse. Which you see a lot of people provoking too. Like, dude, that shit is
Right.
dangerous, man. It's really dangerous.
Yeah, and I tell people like with provoking, it's a bunch of bullshit because would you want somebody to walk in your house and just start yelling at you and demanding things?
Yeah.
I don't think you would respond very well to that, you know.
No.
And then people want to know why they get scratched and pushed and smacked and okay, well, you come into this person's house and they might not even know they're dead. We don't know,
Yeah.
you know, and you're coming in yelling and demanding things and yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a totally unpredictable phenomenon, and can it hurt the clients? Hell yeah, it can hurt you.
yeah,
We don't even know what the capabilities of these things are. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We have no idea. But you see TV shows, they're all, oh, we got to answer to this, we got to answer that. That's all bullshit. That's just entertainment, man.
yeah.
That's all
And
that is.
I believe in saging to a certain extent. And this is not to clear out any spirits, and I never have claimed to get rid of any spirits. The one thing that I do is I go in and get rid of just energy because
Yeah, I
if you
believe in that. Yeah, negative energy
yes,
and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.
say you have your in-laws in town, you got a bunch of people standing at your house, or you had a party, all the energy collects in your house over
Oh yeah,
time. And so it's basically just like spring cleaning, like sweeping out all the energy, and it just lightens the atmosphere and all that. That's the only thing that I ever do with sage in my own house. I got a couple of friends that I do it for every once in a while, but that's more of a yeah. I would never claim I'm going to come burn this sage and
it's gonna get rid
to,
of something. You know what I mean?
to get rid of an
Yeah.
entity or anything. Yeah,
I mean, the guy, he's doing all this stuff. He's over there meditating. He was doing all kinds of crazy shit. I was just like, man, whatever, dude.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's like, here, man, you okay? I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
yeah,
all right. I said, I've been doing it 20 years. I've seen all kinds of shit. I've had priests in homes and that's the bad part is, I'm Catholic, so I believe in God. I believe there's a higher being. There's something, there's something out here. I don't know what it is exactly, but
yeah,
um, I think somehow when we die, it's definitely not the end. There's some kind of subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is living on. The physical body's gone, but there's some kind of subconscious, thinking that's still going on. We're energy, so
right,
energy can't be destroyed. So we got to go somewhere.
yeah.
Whether we're floating around
I'm
out here or
agnostic.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm agnostic. So what that means is that I believe in something beyond us, but I just refuse to put labels on it. So, and I respect everybody's beliefs. And one of the things I've found in the paranormal world in the last 20 years is I think intention has a lot to do with a lot of things. So if you go into a place with the intention of being respectful and things like that, I think they know that without you even saying a word. I think they kind of know your intentions coming in because, like you said, it's all energy. And so if you're putting off that vibe of a good person and you're coming in to just, do good things, I think that goes a long way. I think also with trying to help people, I think in a way it goes a long way too with blessings and things like that. Because I don't think it depends on what you believe in when somebody comes in to try to cleanse a place or whatever. I think it's the beliefs of
The
uh,
individual.
individuals.
Yeah.
And so if the homeowners are Catholic, I think the intention is there. If you bring in like a Catholic priest to do a blessing, I think it's going to help somewhat because the intention of the homeowners are there because it's their religion. If you have somebody who's Wiccan and you bring in like, a shaman or something that's going to do something towards their beliefs, I think because of the intention, I think you have a way of helping. That is just my observation that, a lot of it is intention. The intention of the individuals. And like I said, it depends on what your religion is and things like that, what the intentions are. But yeah, that's just my observation. And like you said, not that any of us really know if we can fucking clear the shit out or
Yeah.
anything,
I don't.
get rid of it, but we have to try at
Yeah.
least.
I'll give it a go round. You know what I mean? I'll try anything to try to help somebody.
Yeah.
But I never promise that I can get rid of anything. If
Right.
anything, I'm coming into the investigation to try to validate some claims or or disprove them. You know what I mean?
Right.
The
Right.
biggest thing is a lot of things are natural going on in the house, and they think it's paranormal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
House settling. They might have a weird foundation where the house shifts at night and makes loud bangs and noises and pops and
Yeah.
faulty electricity, things like that. Sewer problems. There's only, like I said, there's only been one time when I was in an investigation where I smelled a foul smell. And I couldn't explain where the hell it came from, but it smelled like a dead body, and dead body and like feces mixed, like shit mixed. It was weird. It was the weirdest smell I've ever smelled in my life. I'm like, yeah, what the hell is that? And as quick as it came, that's how fast it was gone. It was like there and then, and it was gone. And what
Yeah.
was weird was the homeowner said that it'd only do it if you were reading like Psalms from the Bible. And I don't know the Bible inside and out. I know bits and pieces of it. I've read it, but I've never memorized the Bible. So one of the members started reading Psalms, and I said, "Well, just read Psalms out, anything, pick anything from Psalms and read it." And sure enough, he starts reading Psalms, and this foul smell just emanates the whole room. And everybody's like, what is that shit?" I mean, it was gross. I mean, it smelled like a decomposing dead body.
Yeah.
And as a construction worker, I'm like, well, maybe it's the toilet or the drain. You know what I mean? The bathroom was right there. So I got up and I went in the bathroom, and I'm like, it's not coming from the bathroom. I flushed the toilet. I'm running the water, smelling in the sink. I get down to the basement. I'm checking the sewer line. I'm like, they don't have a leak anywhere. There's no leak. We're flushing the toilets and smelling in the sink, seeing if this smell,
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. And it happened once, and then it happened again in the same night. We're there, and it does it all in one night, but it was the weirdest shit I've ever experienced. I'm like, it only happened one time, and that happened 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that? Like, why is it responding to Psalms? Like, and I'm not even going to say it was demonic because I didn't see shit. I didn't see a demon. I didn't see, the devil didn't rise up out of the floor and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
just like a dead body. It smelled like a dead body. And we did do some research, and we did find out someone was murdered behind the house. Some bikers, pagans are real big up here and on the East Coast up here, up on in Pennsylvania and Maryland and stuff like that. They were a motorcycle gang, and I think they wound up raping and killing a woman behind the house and threw her in the woods there. I mean, the woods are literally 10 feet from the house, and it was weird, man. We had a lot of different things, something said my name, and I'm sitting on the couch at like about 2 in the morning, me and another, a female investigator. I kind of got my head back, and it's just quiet. I mean, it's silent, man. I mean, it's no noise. We're just sitting there, and all of a sudden, we hear this. Dude, I sat up. I'm like, holy shit. She says, you heard that? I was like, yeah. So I said, what did you hear? She said, it said your name. I'm like, yeah. I said, it said my name clear as day. I was like, what the fuck? I sat up like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Goes, holy shit, that is like, definitely said your name. I'm like, yeah. And it sounded like a female too. And we were just like, what the hell? But it was an interesting case. You get a lot of these cases. Like we just did one about a month ago in Mechanicsburg, PA, and I'm not kidding you, man. I captured over 75 EVPs out of this house. That's the most shit I've ever captured out of a house, and they were intelligently answering questions. Someone was killed in the house, but it was never claimed as a murder. It was the wife pushed the guy down the stairs, the husband, and he fell down and broke his neck and died at the bottom of the stairs. He was conscious for a while. She was just in the house, left him there, just left him laying there, and one of his children came in and found him laying at the bottom of the stairs. And she said, what happened? What happened? And he said that the mother did it, but they never said anything to the police. And they were Mennonites, and they didn't talk to the police about it. He just fell down the stairs and he died. But during the investigation, that's when I got touched by that weird staticky shit, and I heard that in the recorder. And a couple times in the investigation, I said, I was kind of referring to that incident. I was like, did she push you down the stairs and all this shit? And all of a sudden, we didn't hear anything there. But when I'm listening here, I'm listening to the recorder at home, and I hear, did she push you down the stairs? And it says in the EVP, it says, what was that? It says the bitch shoved me down the stairs. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, it was clear as day. It's like, the bitch shoved me down the stairs. I'm like, holy shit. It's like direct response to the question, you know what I mean? That's definitely some kind of intelligence, you know what I mean? Like, there's an intelligence response to that, that's crazy, How the hell do they do that? How is the
Yeah.
physical body? How's the mind still projecting? And physically able to respond and understand what you're saying without a physical body or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing, dude.
The EVPs that always amaze me is in some places you tend to catch this a lot more than others, but when you got your recorder running, but you and your team or whoever's with you is just bullshitting,
And
and
you
you'll
get
have them chime in on the conversation.
yeah,
And like it doesn't get more intelligent than that. They know exactly what you're talking about, and they
yep,
put in their input in,
yep,
like they're having the conversation with you. And I
yeah.
always find that amazing.
You know what I find is really interesting too is sometimes people call it a pareidolia or something like that, but you'll be talking and you'll be making a noise and maybe you'll be rubbing something. You'll hear a voice within that staticky noise of you rubbing your clothing or talking. Even
Yeah,
when you're talking, they'll talk underneath of you, almost
yeah,
like they're using your sound waves to talk, to communicate. It's pretty amazing. And some people say, "Oh, that's some kind of audio pareidolia or something." I'm like, man, they're voices, man. Like I can hear them. Like it's not a
yeah,
pareidolia, that's a voice. Like and it's picking up. You put it on your spectrogram, and it's picking it up on the spectrogram as well. And you're like, "Oh, dude, that's a voice. I can see it in the sound waves. You know what I mean? Like it's there.
right.
It might be below 20 hertz, but it's there."
Yeah. A crazy thing that happened a couple months ago. We were doing an EVP session in this hallway at the end of this hallway, and I use a voice recorder on my phone because your phone microphone is really sensitive. And also, as it's recording, I can see the wave on this program, right? So I can see
Something chimes
uh,
in.
if something chimes in, I can go back in the negative space, in the quiet space and listen to it. But I have my phone recording, and we're asking questions, and then my cousin had his recorder right next to my phone, just his voice recorder, and we were stopping and starting them at the same time. And so we'd ask a few questions, then we'd play it back to listen. And we caught a little girl's voice. We asked what her name is, and she's an infamous spirit at the Thomas house named Sarah. And he caught the voice on his recorder, and I caught it on my phone. But then there's another voice where I end the session, and we both go and hit stop at the same time. But the voice is recorded on his recorder, but not on my phone. And it's a
Yeah.
man's voice, and we don't know what it's saying. It sounds like Handsome or Anson or something like that. But you can't tell what it's saying, but it's really loud on his recorder. But my phone is right next to it, but my phone didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So that blows my mind because so what is the difference? We caught that same night, we caught the same EVP on both recording devices, but then this voice is not on my recording, but it's on his, and it was like something was talking directly into the recorder. And I just find that interesting, like how they can possibly, I guess, manipulate one device and there's another one right beside it and doesn't even affect it.
Yeah. I've had that happen.
Crazy.
I've had that happen quite a few times. It actually did it in the video cameras that I use. I use Wise cameras, and they track motion and stuff like that. So as soon as something,
Yeah.
boom, it's on it, it locks on it, and it's following it. We're in that same house about a month ago, and the camera picks up a voice saying my name. It says John, and I thought it was one of my guys because they were laying on the floor. We were just doing EVP sessions, and two of the guys were just sitting on the floor, and I'm standing out in the doorway, and I used a task cam, and it's really sensitive. I mean, you can hear your guts turning with that thing. It's so sensitive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything on the recorder, and my recorder didn't pick shit up. It didn't pick anything up. It didn't pick the John up or nothing, but the camera did. And the camera has really shitty quality speakers in it, like recording devices, and it really sucks. And it's limited. It's limited to its range. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
good close up, but if you get far away, it's shit. But whatever it was must have been close to the camera because it says my name. You can hear it's like John. And my recorder doesn't pick anything up, and I usually pick a lot of shit up with that task cam, and I didn't pick anything up. I'm like, how the hell can that piece of shit pick that up and this one not? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Didn't make any sense at all.
Well, that's like that. That's like that. Is it a Philips voice recorder? No, it's a Panasonic.
Panasonic,
The one that's
or
going for like $5,000 because they don't
yeah,
make them
it's
anymore.
fucking crazy, dude.
But what is it about that recorder that people get a bigger rate of success with EVPs than
Yep.
versus all the other recorders?
And I've
Like
been
there's something
yep.
in that, whether it's the software that runs that digital recorder or something, the way it was made, it's easier for them to talk into or whatever and pick up their voices. And yeah, it's crazy. They need to start making those recorders again. So they're
Yeah,
not $5,000 a piece.
dude, I had a friend, Gary, Gary Kanji. He lives up in Newcastle, PA, and he actually contacted Panasonic about bringing that recorder back out, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. He said, "Dude, you know how much money you can make if you bring these recorders back out? People will be buying these things like hotcakes."
Yeah.
And he's like, they were like, "No, it's just an outdated, engineered recorder that that we'll never bring back up again. That it's never going to happen." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Wow." But the thing is, if you could get that recorder, you're going to pay a shit ton of money for it. But if
Yeah.
you could reverse engineer the recorder and remarket it, oh my God, dude, it's a gold
Yeah.
mine. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a gold mine because every paranormal investigator will want it. I mean, you ever heard one of the recordings from that thing? It's really shit. It's garbage. Like,
Yeah. But
it's,
the EVPs tend to be loud.
yeah,
And
they're really clear.
the success rate is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the same room with Gary. He had two of them. He got them cheap, man. He got lucky and got them cheap. He got them for like $75, and
Yeah.
we're in the same room. I asked, is there somebody here that could say your name into the recorder? Man, sure enough, I play it back. Nothing. His recorder says a full name, Richard Margram, like clear as day, like we're talking. I'm
Yeah.
like, how in the hell did that happen? Like, dude,
Yeah.
my recorder, silent. You could hear a mouse pissing on cotton, dude. It's that quiet. Just like,
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I said, it's got to be something with that older technology that's easier for them to manipulate and use.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of magnetic thing in there or something that they're able to tap into.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. That's what's the amazing thing about this stuff is that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, here we are, 2023, and we're using shit from the 80s that's getting more stuff than
Yeah.
the newer technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How?
And there's a lot of investigators that will use cassette tapes.
Yeah, the old analogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they get, and I know quite a few of them that swear by it because they get better results.
Yeah.
And in that way, if you subscribe to the stone tape theory, that would make sense because it's recorded magnetically on that
Yep.
tape, and so if they can manipulate that easily, yeah, it would pick up their voices a lot easier.
I know. I know they do use they do manipulate electromagnetic fields too, EMF, and
Yeah.
it was weird. I'm not into the whole the gadget shit with the EMF detectors, and I have it. Every paranormal investigator has the shit, bells and whistles. That's what I call them. But I think an interesting thing that happened with a K2 one time. We went through this old house. It was part of actually an unholy structure. There was that investigation. And me and another investigator were standing in the doorway. The house is totally tore apart. You know what I mean? It's just totally tore apart. And we're getting no EMF. We're getting no K2. I mean, EMF is zero. Nothing. We're standing in the doorway. It's around 2 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden, I'm holding the K2 in my hand. And it just goes, pew! It shoots up into the red. I mean, just spikes up into the red. Stays there for a few seconds. I put a sound to it, like and it goes up to red, stays there for a few seconds, drops back down. I looked at my Tom is my case manager. I looked at him. I was like, man, that was weird as shit. And he's like, yeah, man, yeah, it was. And right after that, we heard a disembodied voice. We heard a man's voice say, like, it said, "I'm standing beside you." And that's when the K2 went off. And I'm like, holy shit. We heard the voice, but we couldn't make out what it said because it was low.
Yeah.
But we heard a disembodied voice, and we're like, holy shit, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah, man, that was crazy. There was a man's voice, like, right here. It was right in between us, and that's where the K2 was between us. And it shot up into the red, and it was kind of validation that whatever it was, it set off the K2. And
Right.
I made sure none of us had phones. We didn't have our cell phones on us. We didn't have anything. I was like, nobody has a phone. He was like, no. I'm like, because the cell phones will set that shit off,
Yeah.
Somebody gets a message, K2 will go off, And
Yeah.
it was amazing when I went home and listened to it. You hear the K2 go off, and I'm like, man, that was weird as shit. And then you hear this voice, and I'm like, and then you hear it say, I'm right beside you. I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's like a validation that it was there. We couldn't
Yeah.
see shit. We didn't feel anything, but the K2 picked it up. And I was like, wow, that was pretty amazing. That's the first time I ever had something like that where I could kind of validate that it affected the K2 meter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
natural things that affect the K2 meter and EMF and, household
Right.
appliances, cell phones, all that shit. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I do public investigations, we use it because we split off into teams, depending on how many people we have. And so we carry walkie talkies. And one of the things I always show the people with a REM pod,
Oh, yeah.
all you got to do is you key that mic up
Yep.
on that walkie talkie,
It'd go
REM
right
pod
through
will
the
go off.
floor. It'd go right through the
Yeah.
floor, the second
And
floor.
and so I show them that and I say, look, this is how easy it is for them to fake REM pods on TV.
Yep.
Every crew member, the camera people, sound people, they're all carrying fucking walkie talkies on those TV shows.
Yep.
And most of them have a crew of at least 5-6 people that are following them around. You got producers with walkie talkies and all that. And that's all it takes. And I've only had one experience with a REM pod that I can say for sure was something paranormal. There were 3 of us. We did a private investigation at an old rescue squad building. And they called us in because they wanted us to kind of document and try to figure out who was there because they think one of the old captains, he retired and then he passed away. And they think that he's still around there because they've seen him and things like that. So they wanted us to come in and validate that for them and a couple other claims. Just say they're not crazy, right? Because they use this building now to teach the new rescue squad members coming in, firefighters and EMTs and things. So we're sitting in the dark, and the other two investigators are on the other side of the table from me. We're in the classroom area. It's a huge open space, and there's a REM pod in between us, and I'm holding our camcorder, filming, and we're asking questions, and the REM pod was kind of going off in response, but it's hard to validate that a lot of times. But they asked one question, and I forget what the question was, but I watched on the camera an orb go across the camera screen, and as soon as it hit the REM pod lit up.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was in direct response to a question, and I can't remember what the question was, but so I think it was something like, light the REM pod up so that we know you're here or whatever, that we're communicating with you. And yeah, I watched that orb go across the screen, and as soon as it hit the REM pod, I never get any activity REM pods, rarely ever. Anything that I can validate anyway. Like we were talking about with the, your cell phone can make it go off, or walkie talkies and things like that. And also, you don't know if a walkie talkie can make it go off. How about if you're close to the interstate, a trucker or even a trucker not on the interstate could be going by using their CB radio, and it's so powerful, it makes your equipment go off.
Yeah.
With the K2 mel meters, things like that, one of the most interesting things I've found, and I've seen this a couple of times at Thomas' house, there's one hallway where this little girl, Sarah, has a room up there where she supposedly died there. But in the hallway, you have all these rooms that shoot off, all these bedrooms, because it's bed and breakfast. And really long hallway, probably 50 feet long. But a couple of times I found a bubble of EMF in the middle of the hallway. And you can measure it. There's nothing, it's not coming from the wall, it's not coming from the ceiling, not coming from the floor. I found that interesting. I can't say that that's a spirit or anything paranormal. It just typically, EMF is tied to electrical wiring in the walls, or something like that. But to have it just free floating in the middle of the hallway, I thought was pretty interesting. And it's not there all the time. I've been there, I think 7 times now, investigated, and I've only found it twice that it's been there, and it's not been in the same spot either. It's moved down the hallway and things like that. And that's in that hallway we get. We've gotten the EVP of the little girl Sarah, and her saying her name, and we've gotten other EVPs in that same hallway. But I find that interesting to have that bubble of EMF.
That's very interesting, man. That's definitely interesting. We've had similar stuff like that happen with mel meters too, like following the EMF, and it'll move. Like, it's weird as shit. Like, you'll be in one area, you'll be getting a reading into nothing, then you just start sliding over a little bit more, and it done moved, a couple feet. And you're like, what the hell is this moving around? You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Yeah.
So
I was also we were also investigating Sarah's room a few months back, and I was standing in the doorway with my back to the hallway, and everybody's in the room, and everybody's sitting down on the beds and in chairs and things, and I'm the only one standing up, and I got my back to the hallway, and I felt first. This is the only time it's ever happened to me. I've been touched before, but it felt like a little kid like was poking me in the butt cheek with a finger, like move out of my way. You're standing in the
Wow.
door, like move. And yeah, a couple of pokes, and I was like, "What the hell?" And we're recording EVPs, and everybody looks at me, and they're like, "I just got poked in the ass cheek, like like with a finger." But yeah, it was like a little kid, tapping you, like, "Move out of the way."
Yeah, I tell you, man, I recorded something in the house in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. This black mass that forms. It's cool as shit. It's on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and check it out. I just put it out there for people to look at it and say, hey, check this out. This is a real phenomena that I experienced and recorded on video. Like, only time I've ever recorded anything like that. To even remotely be close to a full-bodied apparition. You know what I mean? It's not a full-bodied apparition, but it's a black mass that creates itself from nothing. And it happens over like a 6 to 8 minute period. The homeowner would say she was seeing this black mist, and it would shape into like a person. It would look like a little kid. It would be tall, like 7 foot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you hear this shit when you go in cases, and you're like, yeah, okay. Everybody sees a fucking figure, a black figure, or red eyes, or how many cases I've done where people see black things or red eyes out of the closet. And little kids see it a lot too, which is really weird. Little kids see these black figures with red eyes, and I actually seen one time that freaked me the shit out. It was like in Virginia, in an old train station. They actually filmed the movie Lincoln there, and dude, I seen a yellow glowing eyes. Man, it was insane. It peered out behind a column, an old column, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like looking at it. I'm like, is that real? Like, is that an animal? What is that, dude? Like, I freaking run over there. Look, I'm looking up the column. I'm like, what the hell was that? And luckily, there was there was 2 other people that seen it too, and they're like, holy shit, did you see those eyes? I'm like, that had to have been an animal. I'm like, it's got to be. So I go over and check the pole. I'm like looking up it. I'm like, was it a possum? What the hell was that? But it kind of like peeked out from behind the pole and just went back in. I'm like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? I was like, oh, dude, that was weird. And this case in Ephrata, they were seeing the same thing. It was a black thing, red eyes in the closet. They could never keep the closet door open. So I'm hearing all these claims. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, this house should be like in a movie or something, And I'm just like, okay, So we started investigating. She tells me where she sees it. I put the camera up. The camera is back to the wall, and it's facing to where the closet is and her bed, and she sees it over the bed, a mist over the bed. I'm like, okay, so I set the camera up. I get downstairs. Little do I know, as soon as I leave the room, man, it comes out of the closet. It manifests in the closet. It starts out just like a burst of energy, like, whoosh, and it's this black thing, and it's materializing, and it gets so dark that you can't see the door jamb anymore. You can't see through it. It's just blacker than the night of the room, and you're just like, holy shit, what am I looking at? And I had put a negative filter to the camera, so you can really see it, how it manifests. And it's there, and it gets small, and it grows, and then it just goes, and it's gone. It just disappears, right?
Wow.
And you're like, holy shit. 2 minutes, like 2 or 5 or 6 minutes later, it's on the other side of the room where the dresser is. It manifests real small, and it's blocking out the corner of a little nightstand. And then it starts to stretch. It's kind of growing down to the floor, and it goes back over to the closet and grows. Like, it just gets around 4 or 5 foot tall, black. You can't see through it anymore, and then it just, and it's gone, and you're like, holy shit, what am I looking at here? You know what I mean? I'm like, how can something create itself from nothing? It created itself from it defied all physics. You know what I mean? Like, it produced its own mass. I don't know if it was a cold or not to it, because I didn't have anything in there to measure cold or temperature.
Right.
So, but sure enough, man, it's there. If anybody out there is listening that wants to go check it out, go to YouTube, pull up Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society, go to the Black Mass video, and you can watch it. It's an incredible video. 100% genuine, a million% genuine. I don't put anything out there that's bullshit. I'm not a bullshit kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm not here to fake shit. You know what I mean? That's not what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people put a lot of bullshit out here, and that's why you see so many bullshit videos that you don't know what to believe. You know what I mean? So you put shit out there, and I've had people comment on it. Oh, that's fake. I don't have... That video is 1,000% real, and
Yeah.
that's what I put it out there so people can see that this shit is real. There is this real phenomena that people are experiencing. That they're not crazy. They are experiencing the shit. I recorded it. You know what I mean? There it
Right.
is.
Right.
And I totally did not believe her. You know what I mean? Like, I go into it not believing that the place is haunted. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go into it thinking that it's haunted because automatically your mind starts to perceive different shit in the dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're already predisposed to experiencing
Yeah.
shit.
You're
Yeah.
you're creating your own psychosis right away. You know?
Yeah.
And I proved that with the members that I had. Um, I was suspicious on a few members, so I'm just like, I'm gonna run a little test here. So I went into an investigation, and I didn't feel anything in it. I mean, I'm not a psychic. I don't go by feelings and shit, So
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna mess with them and see if they're gonna bullshit their way through this, or this is gonna be an episode of Ghost Adventures. You know what I mean? So I said, man, whew, I'm feeling real negative. My chest, like, whew, there's something negative. Everybody's got this heavy chest shit when they get into something negative, right?
Yeah.
Whew, I'm like, oh, my chest, whew, it's heavy. I think there's something demonic in here. And right away, they fed right into the bullshit. There's like,
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew there was a demon in here. I'm like, they fell right for the bait. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah.
I let them keep going on it. And I'm like, you do realize I'm bullshitting, right? And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said,
Yeah.
you fell right into what I was trying to do an experiment on, and you fell right into it. You created your own psychosis. They started doing all kinds of crazy shit. Breathing heavy. Oh my God, my chest is heavy. I'm like, you fell right into the bullshit that I was trying to prove. That people can
Right.
create their own psychosis
Yeah.
to believe there's something demonic or something negative, and you fell right into it. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't need people like that. You need to come into this shit with common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now there is, you can feel when the activity. To me, I think you can feel because to me the atmosphere gets thicker
Oh
when you
yeah,
have a lot of
yeah.
activity going,
I
and
felt
then
like
when they're
that.
done, like you can just feel the air is thinner, and a lot of times you can feel, especially if you're getting a lot of heavy activity and a lot of call and response and things like that.
Yeah.
You can feel a change in the atmosphere
Yeah.
for sure.
That's that when you get that cold chill, you get that hair standing up on
Yeah.
your arms. That's your body reacting to a change in the atmosphere that's going. That's something paranormal. And I
Yeah.
try to tell people that you get that, go in a place and you feel that cobwebby feeling, and there's no
Yeah.
cobwebs. That's paranormal. That's some kind of static energy that's creating that makes you feel like you walked into a cobweb and it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like,
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything in that house at all. I didn't feel anything creepy. We didn't have anything really weird happen. And I was like, I'm going to do this experiment to see if they're going to fall into this shit. Sure enough, they did. I'm like, come on. You got to do better than that. You got to use common sense. I said, I know shit happens in investigations and you start feeling weird. I've been there. You know what I mean? I felt it. I felt that static
Yeah.
energy. Your nipples get hard or something, it's your body reacting to the shit that's going on. You know what I mean? You're just like, hey, my high beams are on, and something going on,
Right.
like something
Turned
weird
on
just
by the
happened.
paranormal.
Yeah, they're like, bink, it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm real when it comes to paranormal investigating, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Talking about the black mist forming, there's this weird phenomenon. I hate to keep going back to Thomas House. I've just experienced lots of things because I've been there many, many times too. But
And that's good though.
there's this phenomenon. And at first, the first time I ever saw one of these pictures, I wanted to kind of throw it out because I was like, maybe there's something wrong with the cell phone camera or something. But one of my friends took a picture of the owner. One of the owners, Thomas House, he's sitting at the end of a dining room table. They have a huge like dining room cafeteria area, and his face is grayed out. It's not black, it's gray, and it kind of looks like another face like superimposed on his. And I was like, I'm kind of the resident skeptic. I call myself a skeptical believer because I'm like you. Like if I can throw it out, maybe there was something wrong with your cell phone camera, because I've never seen a cell phone camera gray anything out like that, right?
Yeah.
It was an interesting picture because it looked like somebody else's face, and I'm like, maybe digitally it's just two pictures, or somehow meshed together, kind of like a double exposure in regular film. But then on my two different phones I've gotten grayed out pictures there, and one of them is not the phone I have now. I have the pictures on this phone, but there's a mirror upstairs that many people have taken pictures and they've caught a woman's face. So one morning I was up there taking multiple pictures, and as I take these pictures, there's about 15 pictures. There's a chair that you can see off to the side, and this gray thing starts as like a little ball, and it grows as I take the pictures. And I didn't notice until after I took the pictures, to where it's almost taking up the whole chair, like somebody's sitting there.
Oh, wow.
You can see the chair through it. But it's grayed out, almost like part of the picture was turned black and white. And then by the time I'd switch positions, because I'm not paying attention to the chair, I'm paying attention to the mirror because that's where I'm trying to catch something. So I switch positions, take more pictures, and it slowly kind of fades out. And then another person's camera down in kind of that same dining room area, in a little bit different area. There were two investigators over there that were getting like a midnight snack, and they're kind of laughing and joking, but it grayed their faces out. And this is a completely different phone camera. And I've never had this happen. I've never seen this happen with any other camera, any other phones, any other location but Thomas' house. But yeah, this gray, misty, smoky look. It's weird. Very weird.
Yeah, it's weird, man. That's just like the shit that I experience. It's like this black mist that creates itself from like nothing. Like, how's it even possible? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me find one of those pictures real quick and I'll show you. But yeah, never had this phenomenon happen anywhere else. All the other places I've ever been investigated, it's just weird. Sorry, I got a lot of pictures. I take a lot of pictures on investigations.
Yeah, my buddy Carl does too. He takes a shit ton with full spectrum and all different light spectrums, and that's something I like about that little camera they have for Ghost Stop. They have a little full spectrum camera. That thing is literally like this big, but it shoots in all different light spectrums: ultraviolet, full spectrum, IR, and you can change all the light colors too, which is cool. You can shoot in all different light colors. I'm like, this is a neat little camera. We use it. We've captured some good shit on it too. Some weird stuff, mists and shit like that.
A cool new piece of equipment I got is a FLIR camera that goes on my cell phone.
Okay, the little clip that you slide in. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. We did an investigation at a place called Two Rivers Mansion in Nashville, and it was just a private investigation, just us, and they don't really allow people in there too often. But my friend Lee was sitting on the steps. So they have two houses. They have one that's the original 1802 house, and it's a brick house that was built for the family to stay in while they're building this big giant mansion. And he's sitting on the steps in this older house, and he tells everybody, I feel something cold in my back. Somebody take pictures or whatever. Well, I pop the FLIR on, and you can actually see a cold ass imprint on the steps behind him.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 steps up from behind him.
That's super
And when
cool.
he said that it goes away, it's not there anymore. Like when he can't feel the cold on his back.
That's cool. I got a cool thermal picture too, man. We were doing an investigation, old farmhouse, and one of my investigators is sitting on the floor, and he's like, man, my legs are like got super cold all of a sudden, and I panned the thermal imager over, and sure enough, man, there's a cold spot draped over his legs. You can't see his legs; it's over his legs, both legs, and it's like 60-some degrees in the room. It was literally like 75 degrees in this house. It was in the winter. And, dude, you see the cold shit over his legs. And I mentioned it to the homeowner. I was like, we got a real weird cold spot in your daughter's room. And she said, and I showed her the picture. She said, our dog used to lay across our legs. That it's no longer, alive. But it used to do the same shit, lay across the bottom of your legs like that. And I'm like, holy shit, that's kind of wild.
So hopefully you can see this. See that grayed out, like over the pink?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's through a whole series of pictures, and it disappears, it grows. That's one of the middle pictures where
it looks like it's draped over the arm of the couch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy shit, that's cool looking.
there's another picture too, but it's there through all these pictures. And like I said, I changed positions, but you can still see it here. I'm standing back a bit further, but you can still see it in the chair.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see it.
There's the other picture. So my buddy Lee, because this was a public ghost hunt that we sold tickets for, and he's up on stage, kind of showing some evidence that we got, kind of rules, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And this picture's not been the only thing I did to this picture was zoom in. And I don't understand, where's his face?
It's gone. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but everything else, like if it was motion blur, you would still see some definition. So
Yeah.
it looks like somebody took and erased his face.
Yeah. That is
And I can't.
wild, dude.
Yeah, and the camera's not moving because everything else is in focus. You can read the words on the screen, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it just looked like somebody erased his face.
Yeah, all the features of his face are just like gone.
Yeah, and that's in that same dining room area where I was talking about the owner with the grayed out face. I don't
Holy
have that
shit.
picture. Lee has that one.
Trying to find that one I have.
Let's see what you think about this one. This picture was taken to the Old Stone Jail. We were talking about the other day when we recorded for my show. I was telling you about when I felt like I got grabbed, like something grabbed my spine, and I had to leave.
Yeah.
That location and go outside, and then on the geo port it came across. My cousin asked, "Why are you messing with my cousin?" And 5 different people heard on the geo port because he started it first.
Wow. That's a
And
direct response.
yeah, and I don't provoke or anything, and the only thing I was doing was asking questions. But I think this is a nasty spirit, nasty known spirit. He grabs women in inappropriate places. And they actually closed off the second floor of the jail for a while because of that. And but then investigators come in and said, "Well, we know what we're getting into. Let us go up there if any women don't want to go." But there's see the green face?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there,
Wow.
and my big thing is like, where's the green light coming from? If that's a person, because you can see everybody else in the picture, like you can see somebody in a white T-shirt in the background,
Yeah, I see
because
him.
the light came off the camera.
Yeah.
If that's a real person's face, where the fuck is the green light coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Holy shit.
that was a crazy capture. But yeah, it's a nasty spirit, and they've gotten his name on EVP, and they looked up his name, and they found a guy with the same. They got a first name, and they found a guy with the same first name that was a rapist and a child molester
Oh
that
boy.
was in prison there, and they
Scumbag.
think that's who this guy is.
So here you go. I got that thermal imager shot right here. You can see the investigator sitting on the floor. You see the bottom of his legs.
Yeah.
See the black spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like draped over his
That's
legs.
crazy.
Yeah. It was 63 to 65 degrees. And the room was 75 degrees. So it's almost a 10-degree difference of what that is.
Yeah.
And he's like, he could feel it. He's like, dude, there's something on my legs. I don't know what the hell it is. And I'm like, holy shit. What is that? We went over there, and it was definitely a difference. Like when you put your hand there, you could feel the difference in the temperature. It was weird as shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really weird, man. And that's the first time I've ever captured anything on thermal.
I think the aspirant that I was talking about, I think I only have on the video, because you can, with that FLIR camera, you can video or do pictures.
That's good. You can video, because a lot of them, like the one I have, you can only take pictures. You can't take video.
Yeah, this one, because it works through your phone camera. I mean, it works through your phone. You can take still images or video.
That's sweet.
And I was videoing it because I was trying to figure out.
Is that through iPhone or for Android?
Mine's for Android.
Nice.
But they have it for iPhone as well.
Who's the manufacturer?
FLIR.
FLIR? Oh,
yeah.
Sweet.
The real deal. Yeah, it's the
FLIR,
real deal. Yeah.
How much that run you? Like $400?
I got it as a Christmas present. And my cousin bought it for me, and he bought the Pro version, and that I think it's like $350, $400 for that version. But you can get a cheaper one that's like $250. I don't think the quality's as good.
Yeah, you want the better pixels on it.
Yeah.
To get a clearer picture when you're investigating.
Yeah. I'll have to get a screenshot. Because like I said, I have the video. Let's see if I can get a good screenshot here. Now, that's the video where it's not there anymore. he gets up and you can see, his outline, but
You see his full, with the heat.
yeah, where his butt imprint is.
Is it
Yeah, I'll have
concrete?
to.
Is it concrete steps?
It's wooden steps
Wooden,
because
yeah.
it's a
So wood
building
will
1802.
absorb the heat too. So
Yeah,
if there's something cold there, you're gonna see cold. If it's hot, you're gonna see heat for sure.
yeah, and the particular night, we actually had a warm night in Tennessee that night, and inside this house, I mean, we're all wearing shorts and stuff. It was like 77 degrees that night, so there's no reason for this one cold spot to be on the step, especially in the shape of like a butt outline, like the
Yeah.
semicircle. Yeah, I'll have to get a good screenshot of it on the video. I took several videos.
Have you guys
But
ever
yeah,
been able to get to what's that? Hurricane Mills? Ain't that in Tennessee too?
yeah, that's the Loretta Lynn's ranch. They don't let anybody in there to investigate.
No.
Yeah, I don't know about now because she just passed away not too long ago. Um, I don't know if they would let anybody in there now, but she's talked about the hauntings over the years in
Oh
interviews
yeah.
and things.
I've
Yeah,
seen some of them. I never. The only people that have been in there, I think, is like Ghost Adventures. Those clowns were in there.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think there's a local paranormal team that she let in there like back in the '90s or something, and I
really,
don't even know if they're still around. Yeah,
wow.
but that was back before all the TV shows and their teams are a dime a dozen now.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's freaking a paranormal team every block in the city now.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, holy shit, Pennsylvania's got thousands of them. So
yeah,
that's why I try to do, get out there and be the best that I can be, and try to get a good rapport with the communities and stuff like that. And
yeah,
when we were featured in American Paranormal Magazine, I was surprised that people went into they were people that did still followed us from all these years, and they commented on our page, our article, hey, we met these guys 15 years ago, they were cool, they're so professional. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know these people were like still following us, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
we
yeah,
investigated, or they came to a lecture we did or something like that, because we've done college lectures and we've done libraries, Halloween and stuff like that. You get a lot of that shit at Halloween time, people calling you
yeah,
wanting to hear about paranormal things and stuff. But I don't know, I just like doing it, man. I think it's educational for people too, man. And
yeah,
some people, other paranormal groups, like you said, you get these people with these ultimate egos, and you try to teach them something, and they don't want to learn, man. Like, they just want to do their thing and think they're gonna be on some fucking
yeah,
TV show, and it don't work that way, man. There's people running their own little group of circle of people. You know what I mean? And if you ain't in
yeah.
it and you don't have nothing to bring to the table,
Right.
you don't got shit coming, man. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen, dude. You know what I mean? So
Well, and also, if you want to be on TV, you better come up with an original fucking idea.
yeah,
That's all I can tell you.
yeah,
Because you
big one.
copying Ghost Adventures is not going to get you anywhere.
No, not at
That
all.
show's been done for 20 years now.
Yeah,
Like, for 20 seasons, whatever. So
it's hanging like this right now, dude. Like,
yeah.
so
The Travel Channel Discovery is not looking for another Ghost Adventures. I can tell you that.
No. I mean,
They're looking for something different and out of the norm that hasn't been done.
yeah, I mean, I think it needs to go the scientific route. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really get into science with this shit. Try to figure out, what
Yeah.
is causing the phenomena. We
Yeah.
probably just gave somebody a fucking idea to do a TV show. You know what I mean?
Well, I when I had Katrina Weidman on, we were talking about TV and things because she thinks it's a lot of bullshit too, which is funny. Her being on TV and so many TV shows, but um, she's the real deal investigator too, though. And from my experience, what you see is what you get from her. Like, she's not melodrama. I've never seen her over dramatize shit for TV and all that. But of course, they have ways of editing things to make it look that way. But anyway, even she was saying, we need to get more into the scientific stuff and start showing on TV exactly what we do. And she's like, but the problem with that is people won't watch it
Yeah, it's not exciting.
because it's boring.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
exciting. But
Yeah.
when that one exciting thing happens, it's fucking incredible. You know what I mean? You're just
Right.
like, holy
Right.
shit, dude, that was cool
Yeah.
as shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but that's what the thing people don't understand, man. A lot of times you're going out in these investigations, you're just sitting in the dark talking to yourself for hours and hours at a time and not hearing shit. You're just
Yeah.
sitting there like, this sucks. There's nothing
Yeah.
going on. But
Yeah.
You see a TV show with the Warrens on it, shit's flying across the room. There's fucking
Right.
ghosts coming out of the walls. You know, you're just like,
Right.
oh, man, why can't that ever happen to me? I've
And
never had it happen.
I don't want to appear like I'm trying to name drop. I'm just using her as an example of somebody who is on TV and has been on big successful shows who has the opinion that we need to go in a different route. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
definitely.
dropping her name because whatever. Just the fact that somebody like her, has had that para celebrity status, is even in agreement that we need to go more scientific and more in the route of real investigating.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just like, the Conjuring movies. They're all the same shit. It's movie bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've talked to Andrea Perron way before the movie shit. When it first came out, that was a long time ago. I talked to Andrea, and that shit did. A lot of shit did happen to her in that house up there. You know what I mean? It did.
Yeah.
But you watch the movie, and it's like all this demonic shit, and it's just, and that's not kind of how it was with that.
Right.
There was definitely some things going on in the house. You know what I mean? Like I said, her dad wound up. Her mom got thrown across the room in a seance.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've never been in a house and done a seance. Like, I don't think that's a good thing to do. It could probably maybe invite something else into the house that maybe is not very good. You know what I mean? There's
Right. Yeah.
a lot of wicked fucking people out here. You know what I mean? Like, when they die, they most likely probably stay kind of evil. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
murderers and
Yeah.
rapists and.
Yeah, I say if you're an asshole in life, probably gonna be an asshole in death.
Yeah,
That's my motto.
Yeah, I actually read an article. You remember Ted Bundy, right? The serial killer. And when they executed him, he went screaming and crying, went out like a little bitch that he was.
Right.
And but a week after he was executed, the guards reported they seen him in his cell. He was sitting on the bunk. One of the guards walked by the cell. He was sitting on the bunk, and he looked at him and he said, "I fooled you all." That's exactly what he said. He told him he fooled them all. Dude, he fucking lived on after he died, dude.
Yeah.
That sick bastard is still wandering this earth, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Maybe somehow he's changed, but the way the guy described it in the article, that it was still the sick, sadistic bastard that he was, you know what I mean? And that kind of carries on to like some of the negative things you have happen in houses. There might have been some evil sumbitch that lived in that house, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's why you're experiencing all these negative things and negative influences, and people getting these weird thoughts of wanting to kill themselves and things like that. It's a lot of different things going on with it that we don't understand.
Well, hopefully the joke's on Ted Bundy and his ass is trapped in prison for all of eternity.
Yeah, I hope his ass is stuck in there, not out on the streets or some shit. You know,
right?
What I mean? He was one sick son of a bitch. But
yeah,
it's just like this phenomenon is just amazing to me. It's never gets old. All the years I've been doing, I never get bored of it. You know what I mean? It's just like something new will happen. It's a lot of the hauntings are the same, the activity wise. You know what I mean? You hear disembodied voices, you hear EVPs. You once in a while you'll see these shadowy things. You know what I mean? I've seen them like 3 or 4 different times, and they're interesting to see. I seen one really close to me, right, like 10 feet away from me. You know what I mean? And it looked at me. I didn't have any features, but I could tell it kind of like turned.
Yeah.
It looked like it was looking in a window. At the unholy structure, that mansion.
Yeah.
And I went outside, and it was looking in the window, and I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Holy shit!" And it's right here, and I'm like looking at it, and I made a noise on the floorboard, and the floorboard creaked, and it turned. And when it turned, dude, it was just like looking at me. I didn't see any facial features, nothing. It was just black. Yeah. It was like basically like a target, that you would shoot at a target at a silhouette,
Yeah.
But it had smoke, like coming back into itself, man. It was the weirdest shit I ever seen. It was just like a vapor or something, like back into itself. Like almost you could see it swirling and shit inside of it, And I'm like,
yeah.
What the? I was like, I was freaking scared of shit, man. People say they're gonna go run to that shit. Go ahead, Not me. I was ready to run the other way, dude.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit! I'm looking at it, and my heart is like just. I mean, it was probably bouncing out of my shirt, man. And I was like, holy shit, And it just, it took off the other way. And when it went so fast, it kind of left like smoke, like a
Yeah.
vapor trail,
Like a
dude.
vapor trail. Yeah.
It was freaking wild, man. I was like, holy shit, dude. It went down to the ground. It went through the railing down to the ground. I went down there. I walked down there. I didn't run, but I walked down and I'm like looking around. Nothing, dude. It was gone. I didn't smell anything. It didn't, some people say they smell sulfur or shit like that. I didn't smell anything like that. I didn't,
Yeah.
no cold, but it was weird, man. It was just like, and then in my mind, I'm thinking, did I really see that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is my mind playing some kind of weird ass trick on me that I seen that? You know what I mean? Because there was so much phenomena going on that your mind starts, really messing with you, man. Like, am I really experiencing this shit? And then you start going into the recordings, and you're like, holy shit, that really happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I did hear that. I did, feel that. It was weird, man. Like, it was one of those cases that. Yeah, it's just it was amazing. You know what I mean? I'm just glad she wrote the book about it. You know what I mean? Because there were so many
Yeah.
things that happened, and people experienced so many different weird ass things in that place. And somebody actually lives there. Like, I would
Yeah. So I was
love,
gonna say,
I would
I
love
can't
to own
believe that
it.
somebody lives there.
Yeah, I mean, they fixed it up.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I love old architecture, and that place
Yeah.
is filled with old architecture and old cabinets that they made, and they handmade them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the whole thing is evolved around an old cemetery too. That's really right next to the house. You know what I mean? It has a legend to it with a werewolf, and we're seeing
Yeah.
a black dog in the house, and you're seeing it outside the house, seeing it in the cemetery. This black dog, or it looked like a dog. You know what I mean? Like, and other people, even the neighbors and the people around the community, have seen it. And there's a legend associated with the whole cemetery itself that a
Hmm.
werewolf was allegedly buried in this cemetery. If you go to the cemetery, the wall doesn't have any gates to get in it. It's blocked up. You got to climb over the wall.
Hmm.
Like,
Wow.
this was supposed to keep it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And they see this shit in the cemetery, and seen outside of the cemetery. Even the neighbors see it. You know what I mean? Like, they see this dog walking down the street, this black dog. Like a German Shepherd looking dog.
Yeah.
A wolf looking dog. And we've seen it in other investigations too, which is weird as shit. And it was a good distance away from that house. Tom was outside doing something, and he seen this black wolf-looking dog. You know what I mean? It was all black, and it was leading him away from the house. He's like,
Hmm.
dude, this is like shit that something that a movie would be made of. You know what I mean? And I wasn't in that
Yeah.
investigation that they did when he said he seen the dog, and I'm like, it sounds like the same one from that case. You know what I mean? He goes, dude, it was leading me away from the house, and then all of a sudden it was gone. I'm like, well, maybe you got some kind of attachment or something from the shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of weird. You would see the same kind of animal, you know, 50 miles away from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're a good 50 miles away.
There's an author, W.T. Watson, who wrote a book about the black dog phenomenon.
It's wild, man.
Yeah,
It's
about
wild.
all the different sightings and experiences people have had with it. Yeah.
It's creepy as hell, dude. You
Yeah.
know? And a lot of the stuff is on Native American land too. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's involved with Native Americans, some kind of, because they have like animal spirits and shit. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is directly involved with that kind of thing, because even that house is, the Holy Structure House was, there was Native American shit there. And the investigation we went to, there was a lot of Native American things with the Susquehannock Indians and stuff. So is it related to
Yeah.
that somehow? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
There
strange.
there was one tribe of Native Americans, and I think they're in Virginia. It's around some of like famous mounds. And I can't remember if it's like the Serpent Mounds in Ohio or if it's in Virginia, but some of the mound building Indians, they uncovered some of these graves where that you have the skeleton of the actual Native American, and then they put a wolf skull over top of their head.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like in the afterlife, they're going to be a
This
wolf.
wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, and they called them, excuse me, allergies, Tennessee. You
Yeah.
know?
Us too up here, man.
But I forget what they called them, but they were like, yeah, like wolfmen, and they in the afterlife that's what they would
They're
turn
like
into. They're like
skinwalkers
wolf,
almost,
like
right?
dog soldiers.
Like skinwalkers almost, right?
Yeah, Skinwalker's kind of a Midwestern thing for like
Yeah.
the Plains Indians and the desert Indians out that way. But yeah, almost like a skinwalker, like a dog soldier. But like it was like the Mohicans or like up in, you know, the East Coast. But it was this one particular sect of a certain tribe that did this. And yeah, they've archaeologists uncovered the graves where they've superimposed the skulls, specifically the jaws on top of the human skeleton.
That's wild, man, because it kind of makes sense of like what you're seeing. You know, what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you see this black dog, dude. It's nasty looking, some bitch, man. Teeth, growly. You know, it's just
yeah,
looks like a real dog. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
even the groundskeeper when he locked him in that little shed. You know what I mean? He thought that it was a real dog. He was in there all day,
right.
and he thought the thing was there all day. And
Yeah,
the
telling the
door was
owner your
gone.
dog's locked up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, your
yeah,
dog's in there, man. He's like,
yeah,
nasty son of a bitch, you know? And he's like, we don't own a dog. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you don't own a
yeah,
dog. He's like, there's a black German Shepherd in there. Some big black German
yeah,
Shepherd. He said it's real big, you know? And I'm like, that's when we, you know, the construction workers were seeing it, you know, and they had seen it a few times up in the hallway, and it would go into a room and it would just be gone. You know what I mean? They go into the room and now it's not there
yeah,
anymore. And we first started, I didn't see it at first. I just heard it. I heard the nails like clicking on the wood floor, like,
yeah.
and I heard it, and my buddy Carl, his son, heard it too. And he goes, "You sound like a dog, like walking on the floor, on the wood floor." And I was like, "I heard it too." And he's like, "Yeah," because we were both together. And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" It's just like nails, like,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh shit, what is that?" But we didn't see anything. Then finally, it starts, you know, it starts materializing where you see it, you know, and you're just like, "Holy shit!" You know, there's this thing, you know, you're like, "Whoa, what the?" And then,
Yeah.
you know, gone, you know, just like out of existence, you know, you're like, what is this shit, man? Like, what is going on here, you know? And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you don't want to say it's a portal, you know? You're just like, is this
Right.
house a big
Right.
portal or something? Like, what the hell is this shit here? You know, you're like, what is this
Yeah.
shit?
Well, in the past 3 or 4 years, like dogmen phenomena has gotten really big too. I think the catalyst for that was like the Beast of Bray Road stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
once that come out, a lot of people came out with these dogmen stories of werewolf, dogmen
Yeah.
type stories.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There's a video out there of a guy with an encounter with a dog man. You don't see it real well, but you see what it looks like a wolf, like a big ass wolf coming at him in the woods, and
Yeah.
the camera's on him for a second. He just turns around. He just starts booking it, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's an interesting video. You can almost see a little clarity to it, but it's a cell phone. He's running. It's jiggling around and shit, and you can't really
Yeah.
notice it. You know, but it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild.
There's a farmer on Bray Road out there who has these casts of these massive, massive canine prints on his farm.
Wow.
And he's taking pictures of them in the dirt and cast them. And what a lot of people think the Beast of Bray Road is actual dire wolf, and they're supposed to be extinct.
Yeah, it's like an extinct wolf,
Like,
you know.
yeah,
Think
like
of
a
big
ice
wolf.
age,
Yeah.
ginormous, like the size of a fucking donkey.
Yeah.
That's how big these wolves are or were. And but some people think that they've survived like in the mountains in these pockets of small populations.
It's
And
possible.
that's what a lot of people are seeing.
Yeah,
And they're
it's
just not used to
possible.
seeing these ginormous wolves.
Yeah, it's possible. Just like
Yeah.
Bigfoot. A lot of people don't believe in Bigfoot. I believe in it.
Right.
I definitely think
Yeah.
Bigfoot's real. I mean,
Yeah.
thousands of people are seeing the same shit. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
like it's one
Right.
person or two. All over the country, man. Like it started
Around the world.
Yeah, all over the place. You know,
Yeah.
it started in California and it's kind of worked its way over to us now on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania is really big in Bigfoot sightings and stuff. You know, I live near Caledonia State Park, which is right outside of Gettysburg, and they have Bigfoot sightings in there all the time, running across the highway.
Yeah.
I think there's a famous picture of one where it's not really to me it looks like a bear with mange, but they said it's a baby Bigfoot, but it looks like a bear with mange, like a small black bear, you know, but
Yeah.
they said it's a Bigfoot, but you know, people like to over exaggerate shit. But there have been footprints captured, and there are a lot of Bigfoot research investigations that are going on up there. But I've never seen anything. I know in Columbia, PA, and that's literally like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from my house. They have reports of a small Bigfoot at Chicky Rocks. Trying to remember what the hell they call that thing. It's a weird name they call it. They have a festival for it every year.
There's
What the hell is the
is
name
it
of that thing?
Puckwedgie?
No, it's called.
Puckwedgie is a small Bigfoot.
Damn it. They named it up there. This goofy name.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that something. Save my ass.
The Puckwedgie's up in your area somewhere. It may be more Midwest, the Puckwedgie, but it's like a small Bigfoot, more monkey than ape type.
This is like it's very small. It's like 4 foot, somewhere around
Yeah.
there, about 4 foot. And who knows? It might have been a bear or some shit. But they say they seen it at this place called Chicky Rocks, and I don't know. They do a festival on it every year up in Columbia. I spoke at it one time, not about Bigfoot, but about paranormal things. But it's an
Right.
interesting little festival they have. I definitely believe in Bigfoot. I definitely do, without a doubt.
Yeah. Here in Tennessee, I'm working on a book because I think the folklore in the paranormal is just as important as the real stories, that people
Oh yeah,
experience.
yeah.
And kind of in Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains, you have this um, legacy of storytelling handed down, and that part of that comes from the Irish coming over and settling in the Appalachian Mountains and becoming hillbillies, and that's where you get country music from. For one, two is from the Irish folk music and things. But I'm fascinated by a lot of these stories and a lot of folklore that come from the natives in East Tennessee and things. But anyway, my book is called Small Town Haunts and Legends, and the point of it is to keep a lot of these stories alive that are local legends.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like you're talking about with that specific Bigfoot in that specific area, and kind of getting the stories out there to people who've never heard them. But anyway, doing research on the book, I found that newspaper articles dating back to the late 1700s about the Tennessee Wild Man.
Yeah, I've heard of that Tennessee Wildman. Yeah.
Yeah, and the actual a lot of the sightings were in West Tennessee, which West Tennessee is way flatter than East Tennessee because East Tennessee you have the Smoky Mountains, Mountain National Park, and it's part of the Appalachian Mountains. And of course, there's lots of Bigfoot sightings out there, ranging from northern Georgia, on up through the Appalachians. But the Tennessee Wildman's interesting. I have a newspaper article from the I think 1820s, 1830s that is warning the residents of this small town to watch your women and children and animals if they're out alone on the streets because the Tennessee Wildman will come snatch them up, take them off in the woods.
No shit.
And the way they describe it as basically a hairy man. To where some Bigfoots they claim have more of like an ape type face, but this is more like a human face, just with a lot of hair all over the body.
Wow.
And long hair, yeah, and kind of spindly legs and arms, not real muscular, and a lot smaller than Bigfoot. And that's the Tennessee Wild Man. And people still claim there are people that claim that there are wild men living in the Appalachian Mountains now who are just people who have never lived on the grid. It's kind of like that movie. What was that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
where they live in modern times, but they didn't know it because they had segregated themselves. And
yeah.
a couple of generations, they forgot that modern civilization even existed.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's kind of how they describe these wild people that live up in the mountains, and they every once in a while they come into contact with modern humans, but they're kind of have their own language and things like that.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Oh, I
Yeah.
figured out what that name was. It's called the Alba Twitch. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
The Alba Twitch.
yeah.
I couldn't remember what the hell. That was a weird name. I'm like, the hell is that?
Yeah. I had a guy named J.W. Oker on my show, and he's a legend tripper, and he wrote a book called United States of Cryptids. And he
wow.
went around, and that's what he wanted to do was get all these small town cryptids, and we talked about the Albert Witch because I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. It's a baby
And we
like
talked to
Bigfoot.
yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, man, this has been fun, man. We got to do this more,
Yeah.
man. Every Sunday, I'm going to do a Paratalk, man. If you want to come on, and we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun, man. It's definitely fun just talking about the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk to other investigators. You know what I mean? Like, and get your point of view of everything. Everybody has their own opinion about things. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's good. You know what I mean? I think it's good to the point where some groups their opinions are really out in outer space, though. You know what I mean? You're just like, dude.
Oh yeah.
You're basing your investigations off of a movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
This is real life. This isn't a movie, dude. This is affecting people's lives. You're doing shit that can hurt people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
give them a false, they go into somebody's house and say they got 4 demons in there because they have a psychic person that says there's demons there. So now you just created this whole huge conglomerate of shit and negative energy going. They're freaking out. They got demons now. They don't know what to do. This total psychosis of there's demonic entities in the house, and it's crazy, man. Some of the shit that people do, you're just like, come on, man.
And then on the flip side of that, excuse me, on the flip side of that, of them coming in and saying, oh, well, your house is cleansed now. We cleansed your house.
Yeah.
You have nothing more to worry about. We magically made it go away.
Yeah. It's all better now.
Fucking fairy dust, and we made it go away.
We're throwing rocks and shit in the house and salt on the floor, throwing freaking salt all over the place. You're like, come on, man. You got to do better than that. You're talking about some shit that you can't see. You don't understand. We don't understand this shit. We don't. We're not even close to figuring this shit out. And I love when people say they have the answer to it. That's even funnier.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an answer to it.
I just think, I think in the 20 years, my conclusion is that we're not supposed to know.
No, that's what I do. I say the same thing. And it gives you little bits and pieces of shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, here's an EVP. Here's a sentence or something. Here's some lights flickering.
Yeah, but I found the one thing that will shut activity down like that is asking about what happens if you die.
Yes.
They will shut up. I don't care how chatty they are.
Yes.
You can ask about their death. Like, how did you die? Things like that. But don't start asking questions about the afterlife.
Yeah.
They will.
Nothing.
It's like something just cuts them off. Yeah.
I say that. I do that. And I do it in a lot of investigations. I'll ask, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Dude, nothing. And after that, it's like, nothing, dude. It's completely gone. You're like, holy shit, why, dude? Like, what is up with that question? Why they won't answer on it, but they'll answer everything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're just like, what the hell, dude? I don't get it, man.
Yeah,
man. We got to seriously pick a really deep topic next time, man, and really dig into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think this is good. I like talking with people like myself, and it's been doing it a long time.
I think I'm slowly switching over from investigator more to researcher.
Yeah.
Of learning about all the different phenomena, and I'll always be a ghost guy. That's my forte. It's investigating. But yeah, I go especially with the podcast. I have people on talking about UFOs and Bigfoot and cryptids, and
I love all that.
All the different meta phenomena. Yeah. So, and then doing research with the book, I've researched over the years too, because you go down these rabbit holes to figure out, okay, what the fuck am I dealing with phenomena wise, but I find myself kind of switching hats to now I'm predominantly a researcher, and I still investigate, a few times a year, but not as much as I used to.
Yeah. When you start digging into research and stuff, man, that really gets interesting, especially like we do, like with cases and stuff. You start digging into research, and then when shit starts falling in line with the research and the activity, you're like, this is cool as shit. You know what I mean? This is really cool. Like, there are things coinciding with what's going on. The shit that happened 150 years ago, you know what I mean? You're just like, holy shit, it's amazing, Yeah. Really amazing.
Yeah, but I have a huge love of history too. So.
Oh, me too, man. I love anything to do with like Civil War and Revolutionary War. We're going to Fort Mifflin in November, man. If you're up this way, we're going to be going there. We got the fort all night. We investigate that. I've investigated about 4 or 5 times already, and place is really cool, man. Like, there's a lot of deaths there, and big part of United States history is there. I mean, they held off the British, when they came in for Washington and stuff to get to Valley Forge, and I think there's about 200 deaths there when the British were bombarding the fort and the time we're there is the time the whole battle is going on. I think we're going November 3rd. I think it's November 3rd. We're going. I have to get with Tom, but yeah, man, if you're up this way, dude, definitely let me know, man. And, you come in an investigation with us, dude. It's fun, man. It's a fun time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would definitely be up there for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. So,
dude, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be.
We'll
awesome.
be there from Thursday to Monday. So
Sweet. Yeah. I live literally like 25 minutes from Gettysburg, so my friend got a hotel room, but I was like, I'm good, man. I can drive home. I'm like 25 minutes away.
Right.
So
right.
I grew up, when I first started that's where my stopping grounds was Gettysburg, man. Like it's just going to the battlefield and investigate. It just grew into other shit after that. I just got tired of dealing with the tourists, and there's a lot of tourists in summertime. Man, forget about it, dude. Like there's everybody up there thinking they're gonna see a ghost or some shit. Like doing even it's just so many people. You're just like, I go up there in the dead of winter, man. Snow on the ground. I go.
His name is escaping me. Mark
Nesbitt. Yeah,
I've had him on my show, and man, he knows his shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I love talking to him about the history and the hauntings. Man, he knows his shit.
His shop's haunted.
Yeah.
His shop's right there on right off of Baltimore Street.
It was just on the one building he owns. Was just on Kindred Spirits.
The one where they seen the little girl in there, the little kid. I think it's a little kid in there. Yeah, that's his bookstore. Yeah. Yep, I've been in there quite a few times.
But one of the things I found fascinating is that the park services have banned EMF detectors, like K2s and shit.
Yeah, can't have any of that shit. It's weird. It's crazy, man. But you can go in with voice record. What I used to do was I would leave voice recorders in the battlefield at night. Because you got to be out before. You used to be able to stay there at 10 o'clock at night in the summer, but now you got to be out of there when the sun goes down. They changed all the park rules. It sucks now. So if you're looking to go in there and investigate at night, forget about it. It's done. But I would leave a recorder I would hide it in the battlefield, like in the woods. I used to go to Triangle Field a lot, Rose's Farm, and I would just leave it there overnight. And I'd come back the next morning, pick it up, and man, you would catch all kinds of shit. Cannon fire. Fire, people yelling.
Yeah.
And it would definitely be associated with the war. You'd hear like, get the guns. You'd hear all kinds of shit. I got some pretty cool recordings of Gettysburg and like Sachs Bridge area. You can still go there at night. I think the park allows you to go there because I don't think it's part of the park anymore. It's like public. And they let you go through there at night anytime you want. But that bridge, it's a covered bridge. And that's haunted too, supposedly by some Confederate soldiers that were hung. They were deserters and they were hung from the bridge. We've had some weird shit happen on that bridge. Loud bangs, voices, and pretty interesting things going on in there. Yeah, I heard gunfire there before, like musket fire and stuff. It's pretty cool place, man. Definitely.
I'm excited. I've been wanting to come, and I'm excited to.
Yeah, there's a lot of people going to be there. I think I talked to Pam Barry about it, and I think next year I'll be speaking at that event too. So, not this year, but the following year I'll be speaking there. So, it's gonna be cool, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun, especially I get to meet people like you and people that seem kind of
That's one of my favorite things is networking and meeting people in person, and it's just a lot of fun to talk to people and pick people's brains and
yeah, man. I mean, we're all a big part of this mystery, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a big mystery. And I don't know if we'll ever find an answer to it. I don't think we will, but it's fun to think about. It's fun to investigate the phenomena.
Yeah, I guess we'll figure it out when we die.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you on your Sunday, man. Thanks for coming on this morning and talking, pair talk with me, brother. I appreciate it, man. Anytime, dude. You want to do it next week? We can do it next week, man. Let's get a topic together and something we really want to talk about. Let's talk about it, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Your episode of my show comes out this Wednesday, so
sweet.
Tune in and hear our conversation there. Which we talked about some of that today, but we get more in depth with your cases and things and specifics on that. Oh, I had one question before we go, and I meant to ask you the other day. In the unholy structure, did they ever get rid of the fucking clawfoot tub out of the attic or whatever it was? Because she kind of focused on it in the book, and there was like a big cast iron tub or something they could never get out of there.
Yeah, no, you can't get it out of there. Nope, it's still there. Yep. That thing weighs like 1,000,000 pounds, dude.
Yeah.
They actually reinforced the floor to keep that thing there.
But it seemed like every time they tried to take it out or to bust it up or anything, paranormal shit would happen. And
yeah. Dude, it was really, really old, man. It had those claws, the claw foot things. That thing is super old. And what's weird was that house was built. Whoever built it was really smart because they built a water system before, where they could actually rainwater would fill it up, and they could use it like running water.
Yeah.
Way back then, like they thought of that shit and they made it to where it was almost like running water.
Yeah, gravity fed.
Yeah, it was cool. And they supported the whole house there from that tub down. They supported the house way back then. They thought of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's amazing about those kind of places is, we thought they were really primitive of how their building skills were, but their building skills were better then than they are now.
Right.
And you're just like,
they built shit to last.
Yeah, man. And it's still there. All these years later, that place, still there. It was built in the 1700s. You know what I mean? Like, it's still there. I mean, it needed a lot of work, but hell, man, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And you see the craftsmanship with the trim and shit in the house, and you're like,
it's
wow.
just hand carved, beautiful.
Oh, yep. All those chair rail hand carved. The moldings around the door hand carved. They had cabinets that they built for like dressers and stuff. They hand built these things, man. They were you couldn't get them out of the room. Like they were literally built for the room, and you're just like, we had one of the doors come open on us one time. It was cool as shit. And you literally they made a locking system for it where you pushed it in, you turn that handle, it didn't come open. And it comes open on us and we're like, holy shit. And of course we don't have a camera on it. We got the camera facing the other way. And I'm like, the door just swings open and I'm like, there's no way that door can come open because you got to literally turn the handle and it opens, and I'm like, there's no way that came open. And we did it again and it never came open again. I'm like, God damn it, I have a camera on it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, John. It's
been
a blast.
Yeah, man. Let's do it again, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend, man. Thanks for coming on,
You
Eric.
too.
Appreciate it. See you, bud.
See you later.
That was Eric Sims. Yes, man. Eric Sims. Great guy, man. This guy is really knowledgeable about the paranormal. He's been doing it as long as I have. And I'll tell you what, man, I enjoyed talking to this guy, and I can't wait to have him on the show again. I hope he comes back on next week. I will be talking with him during the week and trying to iron out a topic for next week and talk about some pretty cool stuff, other than paranormal stuff, too. When we get into UFOs, like I said, I love UFOs and stuff. And if you get a chance, definitely go over to his podcast, which is the Unseen Paranormal Podcast. Really cool podcast. I was on it last week, and we had a hell of a good time. So definitely check Eric out. Check out his podcast. Check out everything that he's doing with the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo. I'll tell you what, I might go down and check it out my damn self. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and I will see you on the other side.
Well, I've been asking questions all of my life, but every answer I get, none of them I ever liked, no. I know we all living up on borrowed time, but it keep me up late at night and got me wondering why. Oh, I'm just looking for a reason. I don't need something to believe in. I just want life to have meaning, so I ain't wasting all my time. So will I see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, to get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? See you on the other side. Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, to get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? What would you do with one more day? One last time before it all goes away. Where would you go? Yeah, who would you see? How would you make your last memories? Are you loving that life you've been living? Have you been taking more than you've been giving? You wanna grow the love, you gotta plant the seed. If you wanna leave that legacy, will I see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, to get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? See you on the Yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? Up on the other side, we see you go wild. Up on the other side, where do we go when we die? You on the other side, yeah. Where do we go when we die? Yeah, they get you with a smile. Where do we go when we die? You on the other side, yeah. Where do we go when we die? Yeah, they get you with a smile. Where do we go when we die?
That will conclude our broadcast of the Paranormal Journal podcast. Have a great night.